Hey traders, Raghee here, and in this recap video we're going to cover a handful of trades that we've been talking about for the past couple days. A couple of them date back to a week, and it's really to emphasize the power of market trends and the Darvis box. Now the simpler trading Darvis box, I kind of call it the modern day Darvis because there's very few people that actually use the classic Darvis, but there are some interesting levels that you can glean from them. It's a way of automating support and resistance in a way that's unlike any other. And I will even go out on a limb and say it's more effective than any other, but that's just words. Let me show you some of the trades that we've been putting on in the last week to last day with the Darvis. So first we'll kick it off with gold. I mean, this is simpler futures after all. So quick recap on gold. Yesterday we built this trade out. And, you know, when we build trades out in the chat room, what you see on the notes is exactly what I've left on the chart. Oftentimes we send out an SMS with the chart attachment so traders know, okay, these are the levels Raghee's looking at, and they can actually see the chart that I'm using. So this was a trade where we had a zone between 1307 to 1303 and a half. So I don't believe in there being a magic level at which we enter. There's oftentimes different zones that, depending upon your risk-reward tolerance, your level of aggression, or how conservative you may want to be, you'll enter within that zone, and you can scale in. Sometimes I'll recommend going, say, by quarters or by thirds or by splitting up a 1/3, 2/3 entry across multiple levels, always emphasizing the larger position at the more conservative or better risk-reward level entry. Awesome fill for us on the 480, and we took that to 1328. That was, we had two targets, 1318 and then 1328. Had a 1329 high. Take profits off the table. You can leave, and in this case, this is a non-farm payroll play for anybody who might still be in a gold position. Gold could continue heading up if the dollar, the DX, heads lower. I'm very interested in non-farm payroll sending the dollar lower. Now, I'll talk about in the premium video what happened to the dollar during the PCE and how we're positioning for non-farm payroll and beyond. I'll talk about that, but the PCE did send the dollar lower at 8:30 this morning. What are some other interesting plays? And some of these are related back to the indexes. JP Morgan was an interesting one. You might say, wait a minute, this is simpler futures. What's JP Morgan? It's an interesting little easy peasy little buy that we've been looking at off the Darvis floor around 90. So the idea here is to be able to take some of the key heavier weighted components within certain indexes, whether that be the SPOOs, the NAS, the Dow, and also take what I feel is the high tide or the low tide of the index and understand how it affects the boats, the individual stock names. So when you understand futures in Forex, when you understand commodities and currencies, it will only make you a more effective equities trader. Case in point, my long position in Priceline. Finally saw a great move today. Darvis box lows, through the Darvis box momentum high at 1823 for those Momo players who love to buy through resistance rather than buying at the floor. We took half off the table here. Why? Because I do think we could be at an exhaustive level on the NQ. So I'm actually pretty heavily short, and I'm going to just put this out there so you guys know what I've got going into the S&P and Nasdaq going into non-farm payroll tomorrow. We are long GDX. We are also short Qs. We are short SPOOs. And we've got a position in the FXE. And that's just an options trade. And those are some of the positions we built in just the last couple of days. Again, built on understanding market trend analysis through the wave and grab and the Darvis box. If you've never thought to use these tools, let me just mention, I offer both these tools free to members. We have them available across a number of platforms. These are classic tools, basic tools, but put together, they really allow you to look at any chart the same way I do. You know, if you're thinking, how do I hack? How do I shortcut 30 years of experience across multiple asset classes? Gang, this is it. So this is what I teach you to do. You're not spending time worrying about drawing the right line or level. You already know what you should be reacting to, so you can spend your time making trading decisions. I'll see you in the next update.